Why is it that the guys who seem to care the least are the ones women chase the most? You've probably noticed this pattern, haven't you? The man who's always available, always texting back immediately, always saying yes to every plan, he's usually the one getting friend-zoned. Meanwhile, the guy who takes his time to respond, who has his own life going on, who doesn't drop everything at a moment's notice, he's the one she can't stop thinking about. If you're tired of being the guy who's always chasing, always proving yourself, always trying to convince someone of your worth, then this is for you. Because what I'm about to share isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about understanding something fundamental about human psychology and attraction that most men completely miss. Here's the truth that might sting a little. When you're constantly pursuing, constantly available, constantly trying to win her over, you're actually communicating something you never intended to communicate. You're telling her that she's more valuable than you are, that your time is less important than hers, that you don't have options, standards, or a life worth living without her validation. Think about it for a moment. When someone is desperately trying to sell you something, what's your first instinct? You become skeptical, right? You wonder what's wrong with it. Why are they so eager to get rid of it? The same psychology applies to dating and relationships. But here's where most dating advice goes wrong. It tells you to just be unavailable or act like you don't care. That's not what this is about. Because pretending to be high value while secretly being desperate is just another form of manipulation, and women can sense that inauthenticity from miles away. Real high value behavior comes from a different place entirely. It comes from genuinely having a life that's so fulfilling, so purposeful, so engaging that you're not sitting around waiting for someone else to complete it. It comes from understanding that you bring something valuable to the table and you're selective about who gets access to that value. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like. A high-value man doesn't ignore texts because he's playing hard to get. He takes time to respond because he was genuinely engaged in something meaningful. He doesn't cancel plans to chase a woman. He honors his commitments because his word matters to him. He doesn't try to impress her with expensive gifts or over-the-top gestures. He shows up as his authentic self and lets his character speak for itself. Here's what happens when you operate from this place. She starts to wonder about you. Instead of having you figured out within the first few conversations, you become intriguing. There's depth there that she wants to explore. You're not an open book that she can read in 5 minutes. You're someone with layers, with substance, with a story worth discovering. But let's get practical, because understanding the concept is only half the battle. How do you actually embody this in your daily interactions? First, you need to audit your current behavior honestly. Are you the guy who responds to her texts within 30 seconds every single time? Are you always available when she wants to hang out, even if it means cancelling other plans? Do you find yourself constantly thinking about what she's doing, who she's with, whether she likes you as much as you like her? If you answered yes to any of these, you're operating from a place of scarcity, not abundance. And scarcity is the opposite of attractive. Here's what needs to change. Start building a life that you're genuinely excited about. Not for her, not to impress anyone, but for yourself. Pursue hobbies that challenge you. Set goals that matter to you. Cultivate friendships that fulfill you. Work on projects that ignite your passion. When your life is rich and full, you naturally become less available. Not because you're playing games, but because you have meaningful things occupying your time. When she texts you and you're in the middle of something important, finish what you're doing before responding. This isn't about making her wait. It's about respecting your own priorities and activities. When she wants to hang out, but you already have plans, honor those plans. This shows her that you have a life, standards, and commitments that matter to you. But here's the crucial part that most men miss. While you're doing this, you also need to be genuinely interested when you are engaging with her. When you're together, be present. Ask meaningful questions. Share authentic parts of yourself. Show genuine curiosity about who she is beyond the surface level. The magic happens in this balance. You're selective about when and how you engage, but when you do engage, you're fully there. This creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful form of behavioral conditioning. She never knows exactly when she'll get your full attention, which makes those moments incredibly valuable to her. Think about your favorite restaurant. If it was open 24/7 and you could walk in anytime, would it feel as special? Probably not. But if it's only open a few nights a week, if you need reservations, if there's always a wait, suddenly, getting a table there feels like an achievement. The same principle applies to your attention and availability. Now, I need to address something important here. This isn't about being cold, distant, or uncaring. It's not about being an asshole who treats people poorly. High-value men are kind, respectful, and considerate. They just don't compromise their self-respect or abandon their lives in the process of getting to know someone. A high-value man might say, "I'd love to see you this weekend, but I already committed to helping my brother move on Saturday. How about Sunday afternoon?" Instead of immediately cancelling his plans. He might respond to a text 3 hours later with a thoughtful message rather than firing back immediately with something generic. Here's what starts happening when you embody this consistently. She begins to invest more in the interaction. Instead of you always being the one initiating conversations, asking questions, making plans, she starts contributing equally. Instead of you being the one who's always available, she starts making sure she's available when you want to spend time together. This shift is everything. When someone is investing in you, their time, their energy, their attention, they become more attached to the outcome. It's basic human psychology. We value what we work for more than what's handed to us freely. But let's talk about the internal work that makes this possible, because without the right mindset, these behaviors will feel forced and inauthentic. You need to genuinely believe that you have value to offer, not because you're perfect, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you're a unique individual with your own perspective, experiences, and qualities that someone would be lucky to discover. If you're struggling with self-worth, if you don't believe you're worthy of someone's genuine interest, then no external strategy will work long-term. You'll slip back into old patterns of chasing and proving because that's what feels familiar, even though it doesn't work. Start by identifying what makes you genuinely proud of yourself. What have you overcome? What have you accomplished? What unique perspectives do you bring to conversations? What would your closest friends say are your best qualities? Build your self-awareness around these strengths, not to become arrogant, but to develop quiet confidence in what you bring to any relationship. Remember, high-value behavior isn't a performance, it's a way of being. It's about honoring yourself, your time, and your energy while remaining open to genuine connection with others. It's about being selective, not because you think you're better than everyone else, but because you know what you're looking for and you're not willing to settle for less. When you operate from this place, something beautiful happens. You attract people who are also operating from a place of self-respect and intentionality. The desperate, needy, game-playing types lose interest because you're not feeding their validation needs. The confident, secure, emotionally healthy people become more interested because they recognize and appreciate authenticity when they see it. This is how you make her want you first, not through manipulation or tricks, but by becoming someone worth wanting, by building a life so engaging that others want to be part of it, by developing such a strong sense of self that you're not willing to compromise it for anyone's approval. The irony is beautiful. When you stop chasing, they start pursuing. When you stop trying to prove your worth, others begin recognizing it naturally. When you stop being available for everything, your availability becomes something precious and sought after.